This is Augie Macro with Cryptid Creatures. Today we're going to talk about one of the most well-known cryptids in the United States, which I have discussed in previous episodes but have never featured in its own episode, the Flatwoods Monster. Due to its reported extraterrestrial nature, we first discussed the Flatwoods Monster in Cryptid Creatures Season 1, Episode 4, Are We Alone? Eyewitnesses described the Flatwoods Monster, also known to locals as Braxxie or the Green Monster, as being a 9 to 12 foot tall humanoid being with a large cowl-like structure similar in shape to an ace of spades, large glowing yellowish eyes, and a mechanical lower half similar to a skirt with pipe-like structures running down its sides, which supports it off the ground in a floating manner. Some eyewitnesses describe it as having arms with 3 claw-like fingers, and overall it is described as being either red and green in color or black and white in color. The legend of the Flatwoods Monster begins September 12th, 1952, in the small town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia. On that night, a group of 5 children sighted a large fireball flying through the sky and crashing into the woods near one of their homes. After this, they gathered their families and investigated the site for themselves. Upon arrival, they noticed a foul smell coming from the site, which they later described to be similar to the smell of sulfur or burnt electronics. They also noticed a loud hissing noise coming from the craft, as well as a noxious mist that caused many of them to fall into fits of uncontrollable coughing. They described the craft as being a bright pulsating light, and from the shadows beyond, they noticed 2 glowing orbs peering at them. They shone their flashlights on it to expose a large, anomalous being with an otherworldly quality. The creature then began to inch toward them, and in a moment of terror, the group ran down the hill to the house, fleeing the scene. Once they had returned to the house, they noticed that one of the women in their party had a strange oily substance across her skirt, and others came down with severe cases of coughing, vomiting, and nausea. The next night, on September 13th, near the town of Frametown, West Virginia, a similar incident occurred with a creature that is strikingly similar to the Flatwoods Monster. On that night, a couple was driving home when their car suddenly stopped working. The husband exited the car to see what was wrong, when suddenly a strange apparition appeared before them. The description is shockingly similar to the Flatwoods Monster, with the same lower half, but the upper half, rather than being mechanical, was much more reptilian in nature, with long arms and 2 fingers on the ends. As the creature moved closer, the man discovered that he was under some sort of paralysis, as though he could not move. Once he was eventually able to regain his mobility, he got back into the car to realize that it still did not function. The monster moved closer, placing its hand on the hood of the car and leaving a large burn on its surface. Once it eventually left, the car began to function again, and the couple drove away in panic. Though these are the only notable sightings of the Flatwoods Monster, reported sightings still occur to this day. In Cryptid Creatures Season 1, Episode 5, the Museum Special, we had the opportunity to visit the Braxton County Visitor Center, home of the Flatwoods Monster Museum. On our last trip through West Virginia, we had the opportunity to visit the small town of Grafton, which is home to one of the more obscure cryptids of Appalachia, the Grafton Monster. Here we are in the small town of Grafton, West Virginia, where on June 16, 1964, on his way home from work at the Grafton Sentinel, a local newspaper publication, Robert Cockrell supposedly reported a large white creature with no head on the shores of the Tygart River. Following his report, over 20 other people claimed to have allegedly sighted the beast. It was from then on known as the Grafton Monster. Cockrell then wrote and published an article on the subject in the Sentinel on the 18th. After this, groups of teenagers ventured off into the woods, monster hunting, and had sightings of their own. Reports of the beast continue on, but no physical evidence has ever been found. What is this strange monster that has perplexed this small town? We may never know. In Cryptid Creatures Season 1, Episode 11, the Festival Special, we had the opportunity to visit the first annual Flatwoods Monster Convention in Sutton, West Virginia. Here we are at the 2023 Flatwoods Monster Convention in Flatwoods, West Virginia, where we have gathered to celebrate the legend of the Flatwoods Monster.
Stay wild and weird, baby. It's going to be a blast.
Though many skeptics believe that it may have just been a large owl, astronomic activity, or the hysteria related to the Cold War, the space race, and the related UFO craze, many still believe that there was and still is a strange alien beast roaming the wilderness of West Virginia, the Flatwoods Monster. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and watch our previous and future episodes on the Cryptid Creatures YouTube channel, and tell your friends. Cryptid Creatures is brought to you by the Kitty Petters Union, Cobble Sound Recording Company, and my dad's show, Meet the Pressers. This is Cryptid Creatures with Augie Macro, signing off.